Imagine if I told people why we were late. Oh, shit. Hello, everybody, and welcome to the Night Stand. We're live. We are live. We never can tell you why we're late, but I'm very pleased. Well, we're very excited tonight because it's the Sunday night. It's like the night before Christmas. It's the Sunday night show before the start of the season. I'm joined by Ricky, Adam, and Beth. How are we all doing?
Good, mate.
Thank you.
Good, thank you.
Yeah, we're very excited about this. We're going to be talking about whether we can challenge, what our individual expectations are, whether we're happy with the summer, whether we're happy with Ollie, what our thoughts are. I'm sure there's going to be lots of different opinions, what we think our best 11 is, etc., etc. But we're going to start off with, we'll start off with some topical news. As we know, Lionel Messi he said he's leaving Barcelona and apparently he's going to PSG. Paul Pogba's tweeted this afternoon saying he can't wait for the season. I think it's a well-timed tweet by Pogba because basically that means he's staying at United for the year. Anybody who doesn't think that, ultimately, where's he going to go? Nobody can afford Paul Pogba. And I think it drops United into a situation we've spoken about many times before where they're powerless. The power's with Paul Pogba. United can't say we're selling you now because no one will buy him. And they can't get him to sign a new contract. And he can go for nothing next year. And if we want him to get him to sign a new contract, we're going to have to offer him 400 to 500 grand a week because that's what everyone's going to offer him in a year's time. So this is the situation with Paul Pogba, which fits in nicely with the season ahead. We'll start off with you, Ricky. What's your feeling about, I know you touched on it a little bit in your match reaction yesterday. What's your feeling about specifically Paul Pogba and the next year and the season ahead with him in this situation?
It's such a difficult situation because even talking about it's a difficult situation because 90% of people would probably answer it with their thoughts about how they would like to use him. But what you've really got to take into account is how the manager sees him and what the manager is thinking of doing with him. What did the manager do with him last season? Very rarely played in his best position and, got shoehorned onto the left wing numerous times. He played on the right wing. For the value of the player, and for the amount of wages that they're paying him, do you know what? I think they'd be better off getting rid of him this summer if they can. I really do. Because don't get me wrong on that. I don't see him picking him in his best position. And if he's going to start picking him on the left wing, I'd sooner have. I know Marshall's in. If they talk about Marshall going as well, I'd sooner have Anthony Marshall there on the left wing. I just don't see. As I say, don't get me wrong on this. I'm talking about how the manager uses him. He doesn't use him. McTominay plays, Fred plays at the minute with his pre-season. Matic is all the rage for starting in that role. We might start next week with Matic and Van der Beek playing in the position that Pogba wants to play, and that's still with McTominay and Fred in reserve. So I don't know. I'm exasperated with the situation with Pogba. I really am. And if he's thinking of shoehorning him onto the left wing position on and off during the season, and sometimes he's even on the bench. Don't forget, we're talking about a player who's on. He is, isn't he? Sometimes he's on the bench. I think they should try and cash in. And when I say cash in, because obviously if you're selling, they've not got all that wages to pay during the year. It might be worth taking 30 million for him. Don't laugh. It might be. Because what you're going to get for him next year, nothing. You're going to have him this year, and you're not really using him and giving him all that money. I just don't get it.
The only thing that made me laugh there was when you said "don't laugh." I was all right with it. I was like, 30 million's fine. I suppose the only thing I'd say that about Ricky, just before we go to somebody else, is that if it is, and look, people will be joining a little bit late. Pogba's basically said, looking forward to the new season. I think that's code for Raiola and Pogba saying we're staying till the end of next year. Because there is nobody who can buy him. That's the problem. Nobody can buy Pogba. No one's got the money. Real Madrid, PSG, Juventus, they're the only three places I think he'd go. No one's got the money. So, is it a problem? Is it a problem for United based on what you've just said there? We're going to have to pick him, aren't we?
I'd like to see us. I'm desperate for us to have a settled team. I want us to win. We'll be speaking about this later, but I want us to win this first game and then get on a roll and win 3 or 4 games on the bounce and be up there challenging from the start. And I think the best way to do that is to try and get a steady team. Now, is Pogba going to be in that steady team on the left wing? Because I don't think he's going to be in that steady team as one of the central midfield players. I just don't see it.
Adam, Hayden's on about that there, and obviously Ricky's touched on it as well. You know, Pogba staying. If you are a fan of Van der Beek and you want to see him starting games, and I've said this before. I mean, look, I said it with Fred 2 years ago. Whether that worked out right or not, I do think Van der Beek is a player that you can't just keep dropping him in for half an hour or one game here or there. He's got to play every single game. He's got to be given a run of games. If Pogba's now staying for another year, and it probably is only a year. Is that a good thing? Are you happy about that in relation to the season ahead? Because he's clearly going to stay now. There's no one who's going to pay any money for him.
Yeah, I mean, I tend to agree with what Ricky said there. I can't believe it already. I'm agreeing with Ricky on that one. But
it is a new year. It's a new season.
Yeah, no, I'm totally on board because it is ultimately down to Ole and how and where he plays him. He's right in what he says. Ole this season, I don't think he's in any position to mess around with players with egos or players who look good on paper but don't fit his team and what he wants to do and how he wants to move forward. Pogba in this team this year, I think we have to accept it. I think as soon as the Messi news dropped, PSG went completely out the window. Yeah. So there's no chance that Pogba's going to France now. And who knows what happens in a year? Pogba could suffer an injury at the end of the year. You just don't know what happens now. So I think all we can do is accept that he's going to be in the squad because there's no guarantee that he's going to play. If anyone watched my review of the game, I was completely on board. I think Matic and Donny start in that double pivot for me against Leeds. They're our fittest and our most match-sharp midfielders. And it's a no-brainer for me on that one. Pogba, I don't want him to be shoehorned into the team anymore. That front line, when everyone's fit, I don't think Pogba gets in it because it's not a natural position for him. And we've got loads of choice. I mean, you've even got the likes of Ahmad to come back yet. Rashford from injury in October. I mean, Sancho, Cavani, Greenwood, Martial. Pogba gets nowhere near that front four for me. And he has to play in one of the central roles. So he's in there with the other 4 or 5 players for me, and it's how Ole wants to play him now. I think it's good to have Pogba there. Everyone loves him. This crap about him being a bad influence and whatnot, we know it's false because social media doesn't lie. The videos, you can tell that he gets on well with everyone at the football club. Even people like Matic and the camaraderie he has with Matic off the pitch, you can see it. Even the more senior players love him there. Everyone loves him. So I'm happy that he's staying. Unfortunately, I do feel like we're going to end up losing him for nothing again. But that's United and the way we've been run. I do feel like who's in charge now upstairs in terms of transfers, it's not their fault. I think I said that last week, actually, because they've just been put in this situation for the first time this season. So it's not their fault that Pogba's going to end up going on a free. He should have been dealing with a contract 2 years ago, maybe, and getting this all settled. So Pogba being in the team, I'm all for it. He's a game changer. He's a World Cup winner. He can absolutely win a game on his own. We've seen that a few times last season. The biggest concern is it's exactly what Ricky just said then. Where does he fit in Ole's plan? And we cannot now think that Pogba and how good he is has to play. It's about the best team, not the best players, because this is Ole's team now. It is officially Ole's team, and he has to put his stamp on it and move forward. And if that means that Pogba has to earn his way back into the team instead of being shoehorned in because it's Paul Pogba, which I think Ole has done a few times before, this is the season now to start it, I think. And I think Pogba will accept it. I don't think he's the type of player to just throw it or spit his dummy out because he's not in the team. He's one who will say, all right, then, next game I turn up on the pitch, I'm going to show you exactly how good I am. And you dare leave me out again. So I think it's good having him in the team, mate. It really is. Just sad that business-wise, if we want to look at it that way, we are going to lose him for free next summer.
I think that's a great point, Beth, actually, isn't it? You know, it's about Adam's right and Ricky's right, but it's about how Ole manages this, because ultimately what Ricky says is he does get shoehorned into the team. And what Adam is saying is look, we shouldn't just pick him because he's Paul Pogba, because ultimately he is in his final year. There is that question mark about what his commitment's going to be in a 50-50 tackle in January, you know, because does he want to get injured? And you do have Donny and you do have Fred and you do have Matic and you do have all these other players. I think that's a very good point. But ultimately, how are you feeling about it, Beth? I mean, he's going to stay for another year now. Obviously, there's nothing we can do about selling him and was, getting him to sign a new contract. Look, whether that's a good idea or not. But Paul Pogba at United for the next season. Good news. You coined the phrase McFred. You would hope we don't see that much now.
Well, I wanted Pogba to say, one, because he's super talented, and two, it's good to have competition for places. I know what Adam and Ricky are saying. It is the fact that he doesn't fit into our team right now. With the players we've got, he doesn't fit in. Because on the left wing, you've got competition coming in, which is where I think Ollie will probably play him out on that left wing. Especially now that Rashford's injured, he'll probably try and play him there. But the midfield is where he should be playing. And the reason I really wanted him to stay this summer is because ultimately, I think everyone's got the dream where they want to play Pogba and Bruno in that midfield with a really, really good CDM who can hold it together, with Pogba kind of being like the number 8, Bruno going forward a bit more, and then the CDM just staying back. That's what everyone wanted it to be. But obviously, we've not gone and bought a CDM. So that's not possible, because I don't know. We've not seen it properly yet, but we don't know if it's fully possible with the players we've got. Matic, it could have been. It's not anymore. Fred, I mean, I don't think we all trust Fred, and McTominay for me just isn't an out-and-out CDM. So I think that's the problem with playing Pogba in the midfield. And then him leaving on a free, it's quite embarrassing for us. For him to be in our academy and then leave on a free twice, I just think it shows how bad the board is at handling business to let him leave on a free twice. I mean, it's not us and it's not our money, so it doesn't really affect us. It's a little bit embarrassing. But yeah, Pogba's staying, and you've got someone on the bench or in the first team at the end of the day who is super, super talented. I know he doesn't really fit into our team, but last year he was showing a lot more consistency, and I think he did win us a few of them games from the way he played. I thought last season was probably one of the best Paul Pogbas we've had, and if he can carry it on into this season, that'd be great. But the only problem I have with it is when Paul Pogba isn't happy at Manchester United, a lot of the time you don't see the best Paul Pogba. I mean, I could just be looking into things because it was his first game back. But when I was watching him in the Everton game, I just don't really, I didn't see I don't think he was really that Paul Pogba that we know who was really playing for the team. I think he wants that move. And I think now he knows he can go on a free. He's not going to have to kind of play for that move, that big money move that he was looking to get this summer. And I just think he does want to leave. And ultimately, the Paul Pogba, it will end in Manchester United this summer. My AirPods just fell out. It will end in Manchester United this summer if we don't challenge for things and if we don't go and win something this year, because he wants to win something. And if we're not there challenging in January, Mino Raiola is going to be all over Juventus. I think Juventus, PSG, Real Madrid don't really have much money because it's a free. He's got a choice of anything. So I think that's what's going to happen. And it is sad because players are going to get limited game time if he does leave. Donny, who we want to be here for the next few years, other players that are coming into the team, they're not going to get the game time that they need to go and progress, and that's going to affect them the year after. It all affects each other, and I just want a team, like Ricky said, that's consistent and can get used to playing with each other and going to win week in, week out together.
I think it's interesting. I think the season itself, you get excited, and I'm going to ask everyone about their expectations in a moment. But first of all, I want to know what people think about our summer and our preparation for the season in relation to what we've done. But I do think there are one or two red flags in the team. I think best to hit the nail on the head there is that it's a massive season for Donny. It's a massive season for Donny. It could be a big season for Matic. If you've got Paul Pogba there and you're going to get him in the team, I mean, we can all argue about whether he's worth 400 or 500 grand a week, but I mean, whether we offer that or not, he still might not stay, because that's right, man. Madrid can probably afford 500k a week when they're getting a player who's worth 60 million for free. But we've got the goalkeeping situation with De Gea and Henderson. We don't know how that's going to play out. I think that's a dangerous one. And then you've got Pogba, who probably is going to leave in the year. I'd say 80% chance he's gone in a year, but we'll put him in the team for a year. But Donny will be here in a year, and Donny might go in the summer. I'm going next year. You've not used me. So it could be it could work well. It could be disruptive. I guess it's one of those things we'll just have to wait and see. But in relation to the summer, I'll start with you on this one, Adam. We'll change it up. In relation to the summer itself, just a bit of an update. Sancho in training tomorrow, Monday. Varane, they're hoping to get the medical done on Wednesday. There's talk that he'll train Thursday, Friday and might be involved. I don't think that's the way Ollie works. I can't see Varane playing against Leeds with 2 days training. But Varane and Sancho in. I don't think anybody's left. Twansebi's gone on loan to Villa today. In relation to the summer itself and preparation for the season ahead, is it good? Has it done everything you wanted it to do?
I mean, I looked at it in a sense of, like I just touched on then, that we've got new directors of football in place, a new structure upstairs, and it was always going to be too much to do in one summer. So the way I looked at it, you've got key positions that you need players for. You're never going to get all of them in one summer. Anyone who thought that was possible is deluded. So you've gone right-hand side. We all know we needed a genuine right-hand side attacking player. We've gone and got the best in class at a good deal at the right age. Job done. We needed another centre-back. I think everyone agreed on that. Best in class again. A winner, a leader, has won everything on every stage. Brilliant. For me, I wanted the CDM, I really did, but I think we was all waiting for that first signing in Sancho to go out the way, and then we was going to see exactly what the next move was. Was it going to be the CDM or was it going to be the centre-back? One or two. I think we all thought it was going to be one of. I just feel like we couldn't turn down the opportunity to take Varane in the situation Madrid are in. United took full advantage of that because everyone knows our situation with Madrid isn't great. And for us to get that deal done shows you how much turmoil the La Liga is in with the top teams right now. We're seeing what's going on there. So United have got on that. And to turn it around that quick has been brilliant. It really has. So in terms of summer incomings, I think have been really good. I'm not disappointed at all in what we've got. I would have liked the CDM, but we've got two players that we needed and two excellent players in their positions there, which are going to improve our first team. Not a possible encouraging player who could come through and break in a couple of years. First team players that can go into our team right now and improve us. That has been really good business. Bad side for me, you touched on it then, Mark. The goalkeeping situation is an absolute nightmare right now. De Gea or Henderson has to be sold before the end of August. It's as simple as that for me. Because Heaton's not here to play third fiddle.
Not going to happen though, is it, mate?
This is what I mean. I can't believe we've got ourselves in this situation. You've got a really good defensive setup and good defence there now. World class, you could say, in terms of what we've got there. And you need to get that goalkeeping situation sorted because that defence going week in, week out and not knowing who the number one goalkeeper is. Ricky touched on it. Stability. You need a team to grow together. That defence needs to know what goalkeeper is going to be there through the whole season. You can't chop and change goalkeepers. It doesn't work. I can understand for cup games and whatnot, but you don't need three excellent goalkeepers in your team. For me,
Heaton signing, just on that, because we won't go on it again. Just on that, Adam, the Heaton signing, you've hit the nail on the head. Really weird. You don't buy Heaton, then keep Henderson in that because he is a backup.
You don't. That is, this is what I can't get my head around it. I do feel like I thought at the time Heaton coming in definitely meant that one of Henderson or De Gea was going, and the situation to be where it is now. Any one of them three turned up on weekend, I don't think anyone would be surprised which one played. That's crazy. It's absolutely crazy because, like I said, you need to start building a team. It starts at the back. The defence is almost there. That goalkeeper is a massive part of that. And that, for me, I honestly cannot believe we're in the situation we're in right now with the goalkeepers because it is going to cause a problem. The phrase, too many chefs in the kitchen, comes to mind. Pick one, sell one, move on. Let's get this season started. I can't believe it. But in summer, I can't really ask for much more, really. I don't expect everything to be done all this summer. I didn't expect that. My expectations weren't there. But what we have done, I'm really impressed with. I'm happy with. I think we've got good deals. And I said, Lukaku going now may give us a little bit more money. If Inter Milan can pay us what they owe, we get the sell-on fee and all that. And if the right move comes around, then maybe another midfielder comes in. But for what we've done, I'm happy with. I think it's been a decent summer compared to what we've had over the last few years anyway. Yeah,
definitely. I mean, just a bit of an update there. It's Beth's best mate, Fabrizio Romano. He's just tweeted. He said that I'm surprised I didn't get a DM about this, actually, Beth. He said that Man United are in talks with Pogba and his agents, but there's no agreement yet for new contract. United want to fight for him and maybe extend his contract in the coming months. It won't be easy, but United are trying. I think that just verifies what we've just spoken about, everybody, that Pogba's definitely staying for a year. He's very likely to leave for free next summer. United will desperately try to keep him by chucking a load of money at him. Whether that's right or not, we'll have to wait and see. But Ricky, Adam's spoken there about the transfer window. I mean, what is your I don't know how to phrase this because I want to talk about the team against Leeds. I want to talk about, a best 11 going into the season, which I think is different for Leeds, and we'll go through that together. We'll sort of like go goalkeeper, etc., like that. But what is your expectations for Manchester United this season? Because you're a fan like me and Adam, probably not Beth, she's a bit younger than us, who, we've lived many years where we expect Manchester United to challenge for a title. The last 8 years has been a bit different. And I think last year I was like, if we get top 4, I'll be very impressed. I hated saying it, but what's your expectations this year for Manchester United?
As I've just spoken about the importance of getting a steady team and taking it one game at a time, basically. Pick a team that you think can win this Leeds game, and hopefully that same team can win that game, and then go again and win the following week. You really do need to get that bit of consistency. The odd change here and there, and I mean the odd change, but not 2 and 3 and 4 changes. And so to answer your question, if I'm honest, I don't think Ollie will do that. I think he will chop and change the team too often. And I just think that top 4 might be the best we can do again. I think Chelsea are going to be stronger, aren't they? When I say stronger, they came strong towards the end of the season. Obviously, with the new manager, they won the Champions League. They got themselves into the top 4 when they didn't look like they had a chance. I think Chelsea are nailed on for top 4. I think City are nailed on for top 4. More nailed on than we are. There's 2. It only leaves 2 spots. Is Van Dijk fit and playing again for Liverpool? I don't know if he is yet.
Yeah, he is. Yeah,
he is.
Robertson might not be, by what Adam said.
So, you might look hand on heart now. Look, it's hard to put it into perspective. If I knew we were going to pick at what he thinks is our best team every week, I would say we've got a chance. But I don't think he will. I think there'd be too much chopping and changing. And I just think that top 4 might be as good as we can get.
It's interesting you say that, because I think that we'll talk about what our best 11 is, because that's different to what the Leeds team's going to be, and we'll all go through that. But one of the things Ollie did do last year, and one of the things many of the people in the chat criticised him for, is that he did play the same 13, 14 players when you think about it. And I certainly think, as a big fan of Bruno wasn't the same from Christmas. He was exhausted, and there was a couple of other players like that, and we saw what happened with Rashford. I mean, he might be that. I mean, do I sense a bit of what I suppose the question I'd ask you is, what are your feelings about Ollie then? Because am I sensing a bit of mistrust about Ollie in relation to you this season, Ricky?
Really, yeah, there is. I mean, I know we only used 13 or 14 players consistently, like, regularly getting starts. I suppose I could bring it up and just see how many people did get more than 15 starts. I think you'll find at least 14 players got at least 15 starts, something like that. But lots of other players got 6 and 7 games, and 8 or 9 games, or 4 games. It's too much chopping and changing. And I know sometimes these things are forced upon you, but sometimes they're not as well.
Yeah, he didn't rotate enough last year, did he? I mean, look. It's a pre-season show. I do want to ask you this, Ricky. I'm sure somebody in the chat is probably agreeing with me. Where do you think we're going to finish this season? If I said to you, will Ollie be in charge next summer, and where do you think United are going to finish? And you can tell me whether you think we'll win a cup or what. But in relation to the league, this is what this show's all about, I suppose. We're all gonna predict it. Where do you fancy United this time next year, and do you think Ollie will still be in charge? So 2 questions there.
Well, I don't know if he'll be in charge or not. They might find that it's acceptable, but my prediction for next season is that we'll finish 4th. And, that'll get us in the Champions League, and that might be okay with the owners.
Yeah, it probably would, to be fair. I'm just going to shoot Beth for 2 minutes. I know you've interviewed Romano, so I'm sure you'll be fine. I just want to ask you, Beth, same sort of question, but different. In relation to the season ahead, we've asked Adam about transfers. We've asked Ricky about what his expectations are. The season is a few days away. What are your personal expectations, and how are you feeling? Because you're somebody who's pro Ollie. So how are you feeling about the season ahead? And what are your expectations for the season ahead, realistically?
I'm excited for the season. I actually am, because I know there should be more squad rotation, but I think there will be a little bit more squad rotation. Now we've got Varane in on the centre-backs. We're not going to see Maguire and Lindelof, the same pairing, every single week getting one into the ground. I do think he will interchange that a little bit more. I agree that you've got to have a consistent centre-back pairing to make your defence good. I agree with that. But to have that little bit of room where you've got a decent centre back on the bench, someone that Ollie trusts, I think that squad rotation, I think with Sancho coming in, you've got more rotation in the attacking players. You're then not looking to the bench and seeing Dan James. Instead, you're seeing Anthony Martial, which makes your team better coming off the bench. Say if you've got your fully fit team, you've got Rashford, Sancho and Cavani up front, you look to the bench, you've got Greenwood and Martial instead of having maybe Dan James and, I don't know, Mata. I know Matt's still a good player. Ricky will be annoyed at me for saying that. But you've got a little bit,
Marcus Rashford by a country mile.
Anyway. You've got a little bit more talent there to pick from. So I do think this season, now he's had them, even though it's just two players coming to the team, like Adam said, they are first team players. So players that are talented and were playing in the first team last season are going to drop to the bench. So Ollie is going to have to use that more. He is going to have to squad rotate more. And I see us doing well this season. I know Ricky's saying fourth. I see us challenging. I actually do. I generally do. And I'm always positive at the start of the season. Every season I go into it saying, I think United can do it this year. But I generally do think we have a good chance. I think us, City, and I think Chelsea are the front runners. Chelsea and City will be hard to beat, but they're still beatable. And do you know what? We've got Varane and Maguire as our centre-back partnership. That is a great centre-back partnership, one of the best in the league. Our attacks, all young, interchanging talent. You've got Bruno and Pogba, meant to be two of the best midfielders in the world. Ollie's not got that many excuses this year, so he does have to go out there and he has to challenge. And for me, he's got to win something this year, because that team now, Varane, Maguire, Cavani, Bruno, Pogba, Rashford, these are these are players that are big names, talented players. You can't keep bottling it with these type of players in your team. So I do expect us to, we've got to win something this year, and we've definitely got a challenge all the way through the season. And I think that's what should happen. I don't think fourth is good enough for a manager with that team. I don't.
Well, who's better than Rashford? I missed that, Ricky. Who
miles better footballer than Marcus Rashford. Absolutely miles better.
Why Mata?
Shut up talking garbage.
I mean, he's not a left winger, obviously. They're different players, aren't they? But Beth just said, obviously, I like Mata, but she'd already said that Rashford should be in the starting lineup, so that's why. I tell
you what, I saw a great clip, and I this is what it's all about. It's all about disagreeing, isn't it? In a respectful way. I saw a great clip today. Somebody put out about Mata. And I missed it in the game. I don't know why. He picks it up in his own half. He skins Iwobi and he plays a lovely ball. Right?
We haven't got another player that could do that.
It was great play.
Well, it was great play. But
I include Bruno and Pogba. He kills it. He kills it stone dead. A little body swerve. He sends him for a cup of tea and just finds himself in loads of space. And the pass, Pogba and Bruno, they hit long passes, but they're often bouncing away from the player. Mata puts a bit of fade on it and it drops in front of Greenwood. Greenwood doesn't must have got to get on the end of it.
I will never argue. And I love Mata. He's a fantastic player. But what I was going to say is, I watched the clip. He sends Iwobi back to Arsenal, and Mata's just about to hit the pass, and Iwobi's just about to tackle him. So he goes all the way back to Arsenal, and he's still quick enough to catch Mata, because Mata's not quick enough anymore. That's my problem with Mata. Iwobi nearly gets back at him, and that's the sad thing about Mata. He's just not. He should never have been on the wing.
He gets the pass off.
Yeah, he does, but this is the problem. I just don't think he's quick enough anymore.
Technical ability. He'll never lose that technical ability. It's his legs.
It'd be great in a five-a-side team, Mata, but he's never a first-team starter for Manchester United. It's as simple as that. He never was. I don't think.
He's been misused, hasn't he?
Got it. His best days are done. We're talking about Mata in the past.
Adam, you don't think he ever was?
Oh, he was.
I don't think. No, honestly, I don't think we should have even bought one Mata. I think the whole signing was a mistake. It may have been for Chelsea, but I don't think United have ever got the best out of him. That's not all his fault.
Come on, he was good when he came.
No,
he has been misused though. I think he's never been used.
Exactly that. I'm not saying he's a bad player, but we didn't need to buy him when we did. The only reason we bought Juan Mata was because David Moyes and Ed Woodward needed to keep facing the January transfer window, and he was all that was available. That's why we bought Juan Mata. Juan Mata was good at Chelsea because they played him in a number 10. Jose Mourinho, as we all know, did not like him. So he let him go. And then United was shoehorning him left, right, bleeding centre. And it was just, he's never been able to get that full Chelsea Juan Mata. We've never seen it. And right now, I think we've wasted him over the last few years. Personally, I think we've wasted him and his days are numbered now. So for me, we're counting Mata as one of our forwards right now, when I just think that there's 5 or 6 players ahead of him in our team.
I don't count him as one of our forwards anymore, but I do think he was a great player. But I don't think he should be seeing the bench next season. I really don't.
He shouldn't be on the right wing, I think that. But Adam, just go to you because we'll come into this difference of opinions on players. I like it. It's all about opinion, of course. There was a comment from Harsh. I put it up on the screen just to remind myself. And actually, something I do need to remind myself about. Kev messaged me earlier. Mike Fergus, shout out to Mike Fergus. He's going in for surgery tomorrow, heart surgery tomorrow. So we're not disclosing anything he doesn't want us to. He said could we give him a bit of a shout out. So big shout out to Mike, and I hope the surgery goes well for you tomorrow.
Yeah, he did message me. He did message me as well. Big shout out, Mike.
Best of luck, Mike, and I'm sure everyone in the chat will agree with that as well. Adam, there was a comment on the screen from Harsh saying third or fourth's not that bad. I want your expectations, but I'm not even going to get involved in this. But what I would say is I think third and fourth is bad. What is your expectations for the United this season? And where do you think you're going to be?
Totally with that. The longer we keep saying third and fourth are acceptable, the longer we will stay in third and fourth and keep falling in and out. United have just spent 400 million under Ollie on a completely whole new team in every single position. Added to that, the talent that was already there, which we know we've got. It's that time to start challenging for the title. It's as simple as that. I expect United to challenge this season with the players that we've got. He's had long enough, and I do feel like he's going to lose a lot of the fan base if he doesn't challenge and definitely win a trophy this season. For me, this team is good enough to challenge. It is, and I expect City are better. I'm not gonna kid. I think Chelsea are probably going to run as close as well. But it's time this team turned up now. They've had long enough. Do you know what I mean? Rashford, Martial, all these players that we're talking about, Pogba's, forget the newcomers that have come in. These guys have been here long enough now, and we're lauding these guys up like they're the best things in sliced bread. Our standards have dropped because these guys have won us absolutely nothing of significance over the last 5 years. And for me, they need to step up to the plate. This season has to be minimum challenging for the title. And I'm talking deep into April, early May at least. None of this challenging at January and then falling away and it just being a walk in the park for a Chelsea or a City. None of that. I expect United to be challenging or I'll be disappointed, and I'll show that through the season. I say it as it is. I look at this team and it's talented. The squad, we have got good, in cases, great players all over the pitch. And I just think United now needs to just, we need to produce now. It's time. Do you know what I mean? We're talking decades now, near enough. And I think the longer we keep saying, oh, it's okay, it's progression. Well, can you say it's progression if you don't beat what you did the season before? And if he doesn't win a trophy and he doesn't get closer to City, then, do you know what I mean? It's not progression. You can't say it is progression because you're stagnating. And the longer people keep saying, oh, he's doing well, we're stabilising. Yeah, we're not Arsenal. We're Manchester United. Do you know what I mean? We have got enough in this team to challenge. Yes, we all would have wanted that other midfielder. And like Ricky says, we all want stability and don't chop and change it too much. Actually, look at a team on a match day and go out, this is what we're going to play like, instead of going, these guys are there, we're going to put him there just to counteract that. Why not look at Manchester United and go, this is what we're doing today? You know what I mean? We've got enough players in our team to run a game. We've got enough players in our team to open anyone up in that front line, and we can shut anyone out. We've done it against the best this season, Liverpool, City, and that was without Maguire. That was without Varane in our team. Do you know what I mean? And Shaw and Maguire having the best seasons they've had, and then going on and proving that again for England. So for me, this is the season for a lot of players. And do you know what? It's more important for them ones that I just mentioned, the ones that have been here for 4 or 5 years now, because they're just cruising along. Everyone's got the favourite players. I love him. He's this, he's that. Well, they're not winning anything. So it's time to actually start putting something on the table and putting things back in the cabinet. Do you know what I mean? They've been earning enough for so long out of the football club. This is the season for Ollie and a lot of them players. And it needs to be now, because I'm sick of waiting around for it and waiting for these players to produce the so-called potential that they've got. They're at the right age now. They've all had long enough. They've all integrated into this club and know what it's all about. I mean, Christ, tonight they're all doing documentaries, even the manager, about the United way. The United way is like Eric says it is. You know what I mean? You go out, you take chances, you go out to win. That's it. So challenge.
I think one thing I would add to that is, and I've said it before on other shows, for me, position might not be as important as points. We've hit 66 points and we got third. We've hit 73 or 4 points. We've got second. I don't, we could finish second and get 72 points. I want to see 80 points. With that squad, I want to see 80 points plus. I really do. But Ricky, Adam hits on something there about players that have been here a few years. Don't know whether you saw it this morning. Definitely wanted to keep this back for a question for you before we start talking about this team against Leeds. Anthony Martial, Lukaku's gone. They've got a bit of money. Inter Milan quite like the look of Anthony Martial. A lot of United fans would say, let's do that deal. I know you're a big fan of him. Does that worry you a little bit? There's a bit of a rumour that United are looking to sell him.
I wouldn't have thought so. Just very quickly, I've just seen on the TV that they're trying to sign Dzeko Edin Dzeko from Roma. So I don't think they'd go for Dzeko and Martial. But were they going to go for Martial anyway? And would we let him go? I think it'd be silly to let him go without having a replacement. And we haven't got a replacement. Greenwood's not good enough at 9. Rashford's not good enough at 9. Cavani's not fit enough to play every week. It'd be absolutely ridiculous to sell Anthony Martial. Absolutely ridiculous.
I said that this morning. It's not even. I mean, I'm a fan of Martial. I know you're a fan of Martial, Ricky. I just think that we've got Cavani who can't play 70% of the games, which leaves you Greenwood. You don't get rid of a striker before. We talk about how we might be a little bit weak in the Matic position. You can't go and then weaken yourself in the striking position, especially as a loan deal that was being mentioned. I think Martial is very important for the season ahead.
No.
Let's talk about the Leeds game, because I know. Well, I'm sure Dan James will get a mention. I'm sure he will, because there might be a good reason. What I basically want to do is I want to do this. We'll have a round robin and interject if you disagree with what somebody says, but. We're going to do a team for Leeds and we're going to do a team of the season. The team we'd like to see playing consistently across the season. But obviously Leeds is a bit different because we know probably Sancho, Varane, Cavani. Well, Cavani won't play. Sancho probably won't play. Varane probably won't play. You could argue that Pogba's fitness isn't quite right either. But what we'll do is we'll go with each person, each position, and then we'll see if we agree. So goalkeeper, start with you, Beth. Who would you start off as your goalkeeper against Leeds?
De Gea. Only option really, isn't it?
Well, yeah, I think Henderson's probably got COVID still. So anyone disagree with that?
No, I don't disagree.
No. I think in terms of who's available, like Beth said, Henderson struggling with COVID, it's a no-brainer that De Gea starts. He's ready to go.
Would any of you go with Henderson if he was fit over De Gea?
Yeah, I would.
Yeah, I would.
Oh, there you go. Would you, Ricky?
I'm not sure. I'm really not sure about the two goalkeepers. They're both good goalkeepers.
I think that's the problem, isn't it? Adam touched on it. It's all right for us as fans to not be sure. I don't care if Beth and Adam go with Henderson. I respect their opinion. Yeah. I go De Gea. The manager should fucking know. Like, he should know. Like, he really should. He's had a year to know. Like, and the worst thing is, there's 40 million quid there and Tom Heaton as the backup goalie. Why has this not been resolved? But yeah, so yeah, I think we all agree.
De Gea's wages is the problem, because they want Henderson. They want Henderson as the number one, or else they wouldn't have done it last season and changed it. But you can't get De Gea out on them wages. That's the problem that we've got. And then buying Tom Heaton, we all thought that would mean that one of them's going to go. But no, now you've got 3 good goalkeepers and one position. It's just so stupid.
My problem with De Gea, my problem with Henderson is that Liverpool game when his positioning was all over the place. As Ben Foster said when he was on the show, that shows lack of concentration. I just don't know whether he's ready for the position yet. But then you could argue De Gea is dropping off. We're all going to go Wan-Bissaka at right back, I presume.
Yeah.
Centre-backs, Ricky, you can do those. Who would be your centre-backs against Leeds?
I just don't think Varane's had any time to bed in. Yeah. You've got to take this into consideration. So I'll go Lindelof and Maguire.
Anyone got anything to say about that?
I'll make a case for Jones. I'm joking.
Yeah. Well, somebody tweeted tonight, Phil Jones is definitely not going to West Ham. And people were retweeting it. And I thought, I could do this. Phil Jones is definitely not going to go to Newcastle or Southampton or anybody else, because nobody bloody stupid enough to take a risk on him at the moment. I don't think Phil Jones is going anywhere, because you've got to be an absolute idiot to take him on at the moment. Not to say he couldn't be a good player, but he's got to stay fit for 3 weeks before anyone will go near him. So, yeah, I don't think Varane will be ready, to be honest. So I thought Lindelof was okay yesterday. It's a risk, but I would go with that. Adam, your left back.
Move on.
It's Luke Shaw. I suppose we'll go you, Adam, then. So presuming we're going to sort of play this 3 midfielders, and I think we'd all go Bruno as the head. Who would you go for that midfield 2 combo against Leeds?
It has to be Matic and Donny van der Beek. It's quite simply. It's shown yesterday. United 60% possession, controlled the game in the first half completely. And you know what? I said it before. You have to accept sometimes that Matic is going to get bypassed by one of the players, many players in the best league in the world. You can't keep everyone out. So stop pinpointing the negatives in the one time he gets bypassed with speed and look at what he does in controlling the rest of the game with Donny van der Beek. That's what you got to look at. And we did that. And you know what? They read the game better than anyone I've seen. And I've not been to a game for a while, I know, but they read the game better than anyone I've seen in a long time. And it was. They were good. They were very good. It was good to see that we controlled the ball from the back, and do you know what? The passing was obviously miles better. So yeah, Donny and Matic definitely for me.
Beth, are you going to go with that?
Yeah, I agree. I agree with that because I think they've both got the most fitness, and obviously they played really well in the Everton game. The only thing that worries me about Matic obviously is his pace, and Leeds are very energetic, very pacey. So I'd maybe bring on Fred if that's getting a little bit too much for him. But I would start Matic and Donny together.
And Ricky, I'm pretty sure you're going to go with that. But we did speak about that yesterday, didn't we? The thing about Matic is he's very fit. He has had a pre-season. And you made a great point yesterday in your match reaction that actually you could play him for the first 3 games because there's no midweek game anyway.
No midweek games. Yep. No. If I can just come back on Beth's worry about his lack of pace. Usually when you're picking your central midfield players, you're a bit concerned. You know, the idea of mentioning what you're concerned about is the fact that obviously it might cost you goals. At the end of the day, it's about stopping them from scoring when you're playing in that position, in that role. It's also about controlling the game, which Matic does well. But whoever you play in that midfield, you will concede some goals during the season for different reasons. If we lose 2 or 3 goals because Matic is a bit short of pace, Pogba gave 2 or 3 penalties away last season. McTominay gave 2 or 3 free kicks away that cost us goals. Fred gave the ball to the opposition 2 or 3 times that cost us goals. So you're going to concede goals no matter which combination you play. So you need to decide what's the best for the team with the other assets of those players. And with Matic there, we control the game better. We might not concede less goals because he might get skinned 2 or 3 times like he did at Leicester in the Cup. But at the same time, he hasn't given a ball away like Pogba did in the box, has he? And you're going to concede goals for different reasons. You will
on that as well.
You will.
Sorry. On that as well. But you're going to have to stop me making you agree with you, Ricky. Here. Come on, mate. It's not fun. Anyway,
I'm going to find some topics in a minute. I will. Yeah. I'll find something.
On that as well, though, you have to think, right, Ole, there's a danger that he'll just slip into the mode of, we smashed these 6-2 last season with McTominay and Fred in that midfield, and we played them. We're coming up against a master of his art in Bielsa. And Pep did this to us last season. After the season before, when Ole had his number, Pep changed his whole game. So Guardiola, Pep did it. Obviously, we're going to get it again against Leeds. Do you know what I mean? He's going to change his system. He's going to make sure that the same mistake doesn't happen again. He will.
Well, they drew with his Ireland Road, didn't they?
Exactly. He changed it all because he couldn't play his way. So I don't think matching energy for energy is going to work. I think going back to what I said before, it's time United actually dictated the pace and picked their team ahead of worrying about what Leeds, who finished mid-table, is going to do to us. So for me, I would definitely go with trying to control the game more. And if you've got players like Matic and Donny who don't panic on the ball in and around our box, that will help as well, because I've seen Matic at the Etihad surrounded by City's front line in his own box and still not panic and pass the ball out. There is a case to be had for that. They're just not panicking on the ball like Fred, oh my God, does every single week. It's like a hot potato. Then a calmness, it just spreads around the team. And it's sort of, because if you've got your midfielder who is a bit erratic, then it can spread out into the rest of the team and people start panicking. When you've got a calming influence, I just think that, especially for the start of a season as well, I think it's a no-brainer for me.
I agree, but the only point is with Matic is I just don't want. Some games you watch him and he just does look a little bit like he's running through sand. He does look a bit leggy. And when Leeds bring that much energy, and if they do come flying out at us, which I think they will, they've had a lot more of a pre-season than us. That's the part that worries me. Matic is better at passing the ball. He's better at dictating the midfield, 100%. But Fred's energy levels and the way he gets around people, I do think
like you said,
that
though,
kind of game.
Like you said there, though, that's when the subs come in, isn't it? Definitely.
Yeah, it is.
That's when you change it up. Yeah.
I think as well, though. I mean, look, I sit here and I think, look, if he thinks about Leeds 6-2 at Old Trafford, he needs to think about Leeds at Ellen Road because, as Adam said, they changed the way they played. So let's all forget 6-2 because there was another game.
It might pound the bush, you never know.
But I also think, I don't think he will pick Matic and Donny. I think he will do what he always does and go with favouritism. But maybe...
I think he'll pick him.
Well, you know what? If he does, I'll applaud him. And actually, he should pick them because last season against Palace, we picked good players who weren't fit. What we know about Matic and Donny is they're probably the fittest two. And what we know from yesterday is they're the best two. He's got to go with those two. If it doesn't work after half an hour, bring Fred on. Bring bloody Pogba on. But start with those because the contrast between Fred and Pogba in the second half, who are good players, we've got nothing against them, and Donny and Matic in the first half. And me and Ricky were talking about this on his match reaction. This isn't the first time Donny and Matic have played together. They actually played together against Wolves and both got man of the match in that game. And Wolves, that was Nuno's final game, and they had a good midfield. I just think it's got to be Donny and Matic. And I really hope it will really give me a boost in the new season if Ollie goes with that, because it's the logical choice. And if he doesn't, he's going with the mistakes he made last year, which is the favouritism choice. So I hope he does go with Matic and Donny. Bruno would go ahead of that. I don't think anyone's going to argue with that.
Yep.
Ricky's thinking about it.
I might go with one Matter.
He wants Matter in.
No, you will not.
I love it. I love it. I love it.
I'm going to go with Bruno. There's no point, but I wouldn't.
You're outvoted anyway.
Play Matic and Cam over Bruno.
I know.
This is going to be interesting though. So we'll go. I mean, it's going to be right attack, left attack, and forward. I don't think Cavani's fit. We know Rashford's not fit. Go back to you, Beth. Then let's go with who would be a striker.
Martial.
Okay.
Great. Yeah.
Ricky agrees. Didn't look that sharp yesterday, Adam, to be honest, and Ollie picked up on it after the game.
He played like he'd not played for 6 months. It's a shame he's not had more of a pre-season, to be honest, and he's only had that half a game, and that is a concern going into this game because, Martial is probably our best option right now, and it's unfortunate we haven't got anyone else there because he's clearly not match fit. And he's got to hit the ground running because I do feel like if there was one player that is going to miss out when everyone's fit, under Ole, I think it is going to be Martial. But for what we've got, Martial is our best option as a 9. He's the most accomplished, I think, right now to go into the game against Leeds. So I have to agree. Martial comes in at 9 for me.
Yeah, because I'm just trying to think who's actually bloody fit because obviously Lingard's got COVID, Cavani won't be fit, Rashford's not fit, Sancho probably won't be ready. So I'd agree with all of you. I'd go Martial up front. Right side of the attack, I'll go for. I would say it's got to be Greenwood.
Can I
go on, Ricky. Go on, Ricky.
As much as I do want to see fit players playing, players that have played, you can. I just mentioned about making one change here. When I say one change here and there, I don't mean 3 separate ones in the same game. I mean one change at a time. And I think that in the front line, it isn't as vital as the back 4 in the midfield that they are players that have played together and that they are players that have had a game. So my choice for wide right this week, if he trains well all week, will be Sancho.
I don't necessarily disagree with you that because he will have had 4 or 5 days training.
No, I don't. Not on the right. I'd play Sancho on the left if he's fit enough, and Greenwood on the right.
Okay, Ricky'd go with Ricky. Yeah. Ricky wouldn't go with Ricky on the right. We'd all love to see Ricky playing on the right wing against Leeds, but he's gone with Sancho. Adam, what are you going to go with?
Yeah, I'm swaying towards with Beth on that one. If Sancho's fit, then I'd play him on the left. And I would play Greenwood, who I think has been our best forward towards the back end of last season and our best forwards in pre-season got his just rewards yesterday. So yeah, Greenwood on the right, Sancho on the left. If Sancho's fit, otherwise we're talking Dan James on the left. I think
that's what will happen, and then he'll bring Sancho on.
Well, what I should have done is everyone's front three, because we've all agreed with Martial. Beth and Adam have gone with Greenwood on the right, Sancho on the left. Ricky, you've gone with Sancho on the right. I presume you're going to go Dan James on the left.
Yeah, that's what I'd do, yeah.
Now, I'll throw a cat amongst the pigeons, and I'll say I would go with Greenwood on the right and Pogba on the left.
Ricky, the
reason I would do that is
but
the reason I do that is I don't like Greenwood and Rashford as the wingers because there's no creativity. If you put Pogba there, I don't like him there, but if you've got Donny and Matic playing anyway, I'm not bothered about putting Pogba on that. You need a creative. And if Sancho's not quite ready, I'd play Pogba, because Greenwood and Dan James they're just wide forwards to me. I would like Sancho is going to be so refreshing to everyone because he's not a wide forward. He's a creative. So I would play Pogba off the left and Greenwood off the right. But
these fullbacks will push up, though.
I've got a question to ask. I think it was mainly Beth, but you might have both agreed with her, about the way Leeds might play, and they might press us, and the fact that Matic might be a little bit slow and it might cost us. When you're playing against a team that have got energy, you have got to have a little bit of fire with fire. And playing with Dan James on the left wing, it's like playing with 11 and a half men. You know,
some would say 10.
He's back covering with the fullback. They've got players pouring forward. Dan James works his socks off. You can't leave space in behind. You cannot leave with Greenwood and I know Rashford's injured. With Greenwood and Rashford on the wings, I've said it till I'm blue in the face. They get caught too far forward of the ball too often. And Leeds have got all this energy, and you just said yourselves you're frightened of Matic. They need help. The wingers need to help, and they need to be there when they're attacking. Dan James could be important for us in this game. Whether he scores a goal, creates a goal, whether he doesn't need to score a goal or create a goal, he can be there to work hard and do the job of a winger.
I agree with you on that, Ricky.
In the sense is I wouldn't. That's why I said I wouldn't play Pogba on the wing in that game, because I do think their fullbacks are going to push up massively. And then if you've got a pacey winger on the right, one, they can get back quicker, and two, they're going to get forward on the break as well, which is why I try and bring Pogba on into the midfield instead of on the left.
It's 75,000 fans at Old Trafford, though, isn't it? You know, I don't want to see what I agree with Ricky, and I said it on the watch along yesterday. What I will agree with Ricky is that if you play Dan James, he does a system role. Defensively, he's very good, but offensively, I don't see anything from him unless he gets a ball to run onto or he can whip a cross in. In the build-up play, that's not his game, and I just think 75,000 fans. Do you want a left winger who's going to be a system player, or do you want a left winger who's actually going to create stuff? And we are at home in front of 75,000 fans.
Coming back to what I said before, again, we're already worrying about a mid-table team coming to Old Trafford and what they're going to do against us straight away. I mean, we have to take the game to Leeds. It's as simple as that. We're at home, opening day of the season. United have to go and win the game.
Adam, taking the game to Leeds or to... I don't care if we're playing Gillingham in the FA Cup. If taking the game to the opposition does not mean that your wingers can loiter on the halfway line when they break against you.
Yeah, but they're not. Who's to say they're going to loiter?
Well, they do get caught ahead of the ball. They get caught ahead of the ball.
Yeah, but they're not in it. They're not in this game. They're not even available to be picked.
I'm talking about Greenwood's one of the two that I'm talking about.
Greenwood for me is doing the damage up front with Matic and Donny in that midfield. Again, I'm taking care of it there. We've got 6 players already holding there. Let the forwards do what they've got to do. That's what Donny and Matic, we didn't touch on it before, they are more disciplined in my eyes. So let's not be too concerned about being overrun at the back, because they will be disciplined enough to do their job. And for me, I would rather have someone who's going to produce something further forward. Dan James did all right with Luke Shaw on the link-up yesterday. It's all right. But his end product is not good enough. I agree with Mark on that one. I'm looking more towards what he can do up the field. Even your mastermind, your Van Gaal, Ricky, he was the same. He had his 4 consistent forwards, and they were the only forwards that could do anything. He always went the same way, and then he had his 6 just sitting at the back. it's the way I've just got to look at it and go, United really shouldn't be too concerned if we've got Matic and Donny van der Beek in front of that front line. I think we've got more than enough cover to handle anything that comes back from Leeds. And let's not forget what Bruno does and is tracking back as well, because he did a lot of that yesterday as well that people don't pick up on. And Bruno's got the energy to get up and down in a game like this as well. So it's not like we're going to be overrun. I don't think we're going to get overrun by Leeds. I think we've got more than enough discipline in them two holding players, in Donny van der Beek and in Matic. I do think that is more than enough to deal with Leeds. And that's how I think United should approach this game in particular.
Let's have a bit of fun to end the show. Everybody press your record button, because we'll come back to this in May. I want where United are going to finish in the league, who our top scorer is going to be, and who's going to be our player of the year. And the player of the year will be the player of the year that is voted for, the one that United release. So not who we think is player of the year, but who is voted as player of the year. So last year it was it Luke Shaw who got it last year?
Yeah, Luke Shaw.
Yeah.
So that's the one. That's the award we're going to go with. So I want where we're going to finish, who's going to be top scorer, and who's going to be player of the year. So we'll start off with where we're going to finish. I'll start first, so you've got a little bit of time to think. I'm going to say that United are going to finish third. Beth.
Oh, do you know? I'm gonna go first.
Woo! There should be some fireworks. We've won the league. There we go. Love it. Adam.
Yeah, second.
And Ricky's going to.
I'll go third as well.
So me and Ricky go
you're
third.
pushing the boat out today.
Ricky, me and Ricky going third. We're playing half glass empty. Beth's had about 10 glasses. She's going first, and Adam's going with a second. Okay, so we'll start off with you on this one, Beth. Who you're going to go is going to be the top scorer for United this season?
Bruno.
Oh, interesting. Yeah, Ricky. Adam.
Do you know what? The VAR changes and the penalties, but still, I'm looking at the forward. Cavani's not going to play every game. Martial, he needs to get into it. Yeah, it's going to be Bruno, I think. I don't think he'll get as many as last season, because I don't think there's going to be as many penalties around, and that obviously adds to a goal scorer's game. But I think he'll just take it from one of the wider players. Cavani, I just don't think he's going to play enough. So yeah, Bruno. It's
interesting. I mean, Ricky, who are you going to go with?
It's a difficult one to argue against. I think it might well be Bruno again.
Yeah, I'm going to be consistent, because if I'd have gone first, I wouldn't have said Bruno, and I've got to applaud you all for going for Bruno, because it's the logical choice when you think about it. But I was actually going to go with Greenwood, so I'm going to go Greenwood, which could.
I hope he is.
It could go. Well, my thought, I was thinking about strikers, and I thought Rashford's got, he's going to miss a bit, and he could get another injury. Cavani won't play that much. Martial, you don't know whether he's going to play. Greenwood's, it's a massive season for him, and he could just have a world.
He's going to have such a good season this season.
I want him to.
Sancho's got to have a shout, hasn't he, as well, to be honest? He'll play every game.
Sancho's a good shout as well. Yeah. Everyone remember all this as well. So we'll go for, what was the one? So player of the year. We'll start off with you, Adam. Player of the year. And I've got one for Ricky as well.
Harry Maguire.
I was going to go with that one.
Harry Maguire is riding the crest of a wave. I think he's come of age, and I think he will be captain this season. I think it's going to be a massive season for Maguire. I think that's who the club will select. It'll be Maguire.
Ricky?
I went for Luke Shaw last season and everybody laughed. So I'm going to go.
Well, don't go for Dan James, because people will laugh.
I'm going to go for him getting it 2 years in a row.
Yeah. I think they're both good shouts. They are, Beth.
I was going to go with Maguire, to be fair, but I'll go with something different, and I'll stick with Bruno again. My guy, Bruno.
Bruno. So we've got Bruno from Beth. We've got Harry Maguire from Adam. We've got Ricky with Luke Shaw. I like this. We're all very different. Remember these. I'm going to go Jadon Sancho. Number 7. He's not number 7, is he? I just think. But you know what? There's loads. I don't want to forget about Bruno. You could throw Pogba in there. You could chuck Varane in there. The keeper could be really good. Wan-Bissaka could have a really good season. It's very different. They're very difficult to pick, but I will go with Sancho with that. And then just so we don't leave Ricky out, we're going to go for 4 options here. Bit of the wild card fourth option, but I'm sure this will get remembered for May anyway. So, who will make the most appearances for United this season? Ricky.
and most appearances in all competitions. It's going to be Maguire again, surely.
Yeah, that's a good shout.
He hardly misses a game, does he?
Maguire. Adam, you going to agree with that?
Yeah, you can't. I can't disagree with that, man. The guy's a beast. You'd have to be strict. You'd have to take him out of a game. It's got to be.
Beth?
I'm gonna go with Maguire as well, but I do think there could be a little bit more rotation now we've got Varane in a little bit more. But Maguire's the captain, so he's always going to play.
For me, it's tough. It's either Maguire or Phil Jones, and it's tough to go. I mean, it should be Maguire or Varane, but you know he's going to give game time to Lindelof, and you know it will be Varane who gets rested, won't it? So yeah, I think it will. I think it will be Maguire. If anyone's got any other category that you want us to chuck in, because this is the time to do it, we're more than happy to do it. Get them in the chat. I'm trying to think. So we've done player.
I don't. Like you said there, I don't think Maguire's got a replacement. I think it's Lindelof for Varane. Maguire's the captain. Luke Shaw's got Telles. If Trippier does come in, Wan-Bissaka, I don't think.
Using Van der Beek and Matic more often, do you think Matt Tomini might get 1 or 2 games at centre back?
We might go to a back 5. You know, I'm dreading that. I mean, look, that was something we did change the formation a bit yesterday. I didn't know that. Here's a good one. Assists. Who do you think will get the most assists? So I think it's me again, isn't it? It's a difficult. This is actually a very good question. Well done, the community, because I would jump in and say the obvious one, but I actually think if he does what he's meant to do, it could be Sancho. I'm going to go Bruno, but it could be Sancho. I'll go Bruno. Beth?
I want to go Sancho. Bit of a change. I've said Bruno finally, everyone.
Adam?
Yeah, I do feel it will be between Bruno and Sancho, because Sancho he's a creator, like you said. So, but I just feel like I think Bruno's going to be one of them who plays in all the games. He plays him all the time, and I think he'll get probably more game time than Sancho. So for that reason alone, I'll probably go Bruno.
Ricky?
I got Sancho.
So we've got Sancho, 2, Beth and Ricky, and we've got me and Adam going with Bruno. It's going to be very interesting in May. And then the final one we're going to do, it was just mentioned on a super chat there. I liked it from Tomo. Very unlikely we're going to win 2 trophies. We probably won't win any. But if we win a trophy this season, let's see who can predict it. Adam, what trophy are we going to win if we win one?
FA Cup.
Ricky?
I got the League Cup.
Carabao. Beth?
Premier League title.
Yeah, of course. You said we're finishing first. Imagine if you didn't say that. Right, we're going to win the treble, aren't we? Let's be honest. I think let's go for the quadruple. I'm going to say Champions League. If we're going to win anything, we'll win the Champions League. Yeah, because the Carabao Cup. Pep bloody loves it. The FA Cup.
You have to get City in the first round to stop them winning it, wouldn't you? When they put out an half-weekend team, just got to beat them early, haven't you? That's it.
Does anyone actually think? Apart from Beth, who thinks we're going to win the league, does anyone? Hand on heart, I don't think we're going to win a trophy this year. But if we're going to win one, that's why I said the Champions League. Does anyone actually think we will win something this year, or we have to win something?
Yeah, I do.
I do think we have to win something now. Charlotte.
100% we do.
You've got Varane and Maguire at the back. You've got Cavani up front. You've got Rashford, Sancho, Martial, Greenwood, and then you've got. I know our midfield people will slate McFred, and they have reason to do so. But at the end of the day, the club hasn't brought anyone to improve McFred, and if they're not going to bring anyone in, then tough. You've got to deal with it, and you've got to find a way to try and do something with them. Then, if you're not going to bring anyone in.
Somebody just said we'll win the Europa League. I tell you what, if we're back in the Europa League,
that will finish me. That will finish me. That will absolutely.
I want Champions League nights at Old Trafford. I don't want to be sat there watching God knows what they're called.
I don't think PSG, just because they've got Messi, makes them Champions League winners. I really don't. It's 11 against 11. I think we could, if we have the season we're hoping we're going to have, I think we can be competitive in the Champions League. So let's just wait and see. But look, I've thoroughly enjoyed the show tonight. It's been fantastic. And the great thing about it is there's a lot of things that have been said that we will revisit, I'm sure, over the coming weeks and months. And we'll see. We've done top scorer, so we'll see what happens with that. Most improved players, that's the one that you give out to give somebody a bloody award. That one, we're not doing that one. Yeah. That's the award you give to somebody who's crap and actually isn't as crap as you thought they were going to be. So we're not going to do that. But no, we've
That's
covered
Shaw
everything.
last year, though, isn't it?
You got
You know what? Well, actually, just a bit of bonus content, actually, because we speak about Luke Shaw. I've always stood by Luke Shaw. I always thought he was a good player. And people were telling me he's fat, he's crap, and he's been good. I'm going to chuck... Let's do a player then. If you've got a player, you don't have to. But my player that I'm sort of fighting against the waves against, and I think he's going to become a top-class right-back, is Wan-Bissaka. I actually think Wan-Bissaka is going to be a really good player. I don't know whether anyone else wants to chuck another player in or whether they disagree with that, but I actually think Wan-Bissaka is being sort of kicked out the team, and I actually think he's going to grow into a really good right back.
I agree with that, but I'd add Donny van der Beek. I'm hoping he's going to get... I know it's not his fault that last year he didn't really play that much, but I'm hoping he's going to get a lot more game time, and he's going to prove really why he should be in that team, because I think he's top talent in ways that we need in that team. And he's got stuff that other people haven't got.
Adam, Ricky, got a player that you sort of like say watch out for this year?
You know what? I think with the forward line and so many players being in there, if we didn't have so much of an option, I've seen what Diallo can do on a football pitch. I think there's a player in there. You know, I watched him in some of the Olympic games. I've seen some of the stuff he's done on an international stage already, and there's a lot of hype about him and the amount of games he played, and not playing a lot, but he just seems to be very mature very quickly. And I think Diallo is my shout. If he gets a chance, I think he's going to make it awkward for Ole.
Such a shame, because I think you're right. I just don't think he'll get used.
That's one of the reasons probably why he doesn't play him that much, because he doesn't want that problem. Ollie lacks a bit of that. He lacks a bit of that ruthlessness.
Well, it's easy not to play. Like Donny and Ahmad, they're easy not to play because they're
it's
not
like how
used.
Greenwood always got cut.
But well, I actually think Greenwood does play more than Ahmad and Donny because he's a youth player. I think Donny and Ahmad, because they're not youth, I think they're easy not to pick. I think
the argument with Green. Sorry, Matt. Sorry. I think the argument with Greenwood was, like Beth said, then he always asked Greenwood before Rashford, even though Greenwood was playing better than Rashford. So I think that was the argument. I think he was always the scapegoat to come off, and I think that's what Beth was probably alluding to more.
Ollie's not great at, and hopefully he will improve in that, but he does tend to go for the,
easy option.
Fred over Donny. It's not logical, but he does it because what's Donny going to do if I don't pick him? Ricky, breakout player or player you like?
I was just about to say Elanga, and somebody just put it on the screen there. I like the look of Elanga. I think he's got a chance. We didn't even touch on him when we were talking about the possibility this week.
I think he might be injured though.
I just heard. I was going to say, does anybody know what's wrong with him? I did read that he's got an injury, but don't know what it was or how severe it is.
The problem Ollie's got is that Elanga, I like. The great thing about Elanga is he's a young player who scores goals. I think that's always a great thing. That's what Greenwood could do. We've mentioned Ahmad. We know we've got Lingard, Dan James, Martial, Rashford, Cavani, Sancho. Ollie's talking all these players. I don't care how many tournaments you've got. You're never going to play them all. And look, someone just mentioned Hannibal there. Like, we've got a lot of young. He's got to figure out a way to get these people out on loan or game. I mean, Chong won bloody man of the match for Birmingham yesterday.
Did he?
Yeah.
I like Chong.
He played well.
All right.
So
did they win, by the way?
I don't know whether they won, but I just saw it on Twitter this morning. He was man of the match.
Right.
I think out of all the youngsters we've seen recently, I think Elanga really does look like he's one that's here to stay.
You know, a good thing about him was what he's done in the time he's been on the pitch. He's scored different goals. And I think that header, putting his head into the danger area there, not worried, bullet header, that says a lot. Early doors, volleys, finishes from outside the box, inside the box. I think that's what gives everyone a little bit of encouragement with Elanga. He's got a lot to his game.
Yeah, I think a lot of people in pre-season, so great considering he's coming into pre-season, and he gets a few chances, but he can score a great goal, and he's got pace, he's strong, he's got a great finish. I think he's really going to be a good talent.
I think we're so obsessed with signing players, and everyone's like, we've got a free run at Haaland next summer, and I'm like, if Greenwood has the summer I want, the season what I want him to have, and I know Ricky doesn't necessarily agree with that, but even if Elanga does, but like, I don't think we need to spend 150 million quid or 100 million pounds on Haaland next summer, because if Greenwood breaks through and Elanga breaks through and Diallo breaks through and Sancho's here and Rashford's here, we really don't need to do it. But I'm very excited and I've really enjoyed the show. So much we've spoken about, and the reality is the season kicks off on Saturday and I can't wait. I just hope that the bubble isn't burst quick, because we've got a really good run of fixtures, but these are the fixtures United tend to struggle in. It's not. I'd rather probably have City, Chelsea, and Liverpool, because I think we'd probably do all right. But everyone's looking at them first 8 fixtures and going, you know what, we could win all 8, and I guarantee we won't, because that's just how it works. It's very, very exciting.
We think we won all the equivalents last season, didn't we, as well, of them games? I think.
Never forget, Beth says we're winning the league.
Exactly, and to do
every Sunday night, when it's them dark, cold nights in November, and we're like battling for 6th with Arsenal, we can all just say, Beth, let's play that clip back.
Do you know what? When it's the end of the season, and it is coming to that point where we're in a title race, then we can play that clip back as well. Then,
yeah,
do you know what? You'll get me every single year.
You'll be on well, you won't be on Sky Sports because they're crap now. But you know, you might be on BBC or something like that. Genius. Genius. Let's see. We've all gone for a different thing. Thanks everyone for watching. Thanks for coming on, Ricky. Good to have you back.
Pleasure, mate. Enjoyed it. Thank you.
Cheers, Adam. Good to have you on again.
Mate. Top show.
And cheers, Beth. Thanks for having you on.
Yeah, thanks for having me on. No better way to spend my Sunday night.
Yeah, telling everyone that United are going to win the league. That's the sort of bravery we have on the United stand. That's the sort of thing. That's the sort of content you get here. But look, everyone have a good night. Really enjoyed that. I've been really looking forward to it all day, because it's the show before the weekend, and lots of stuff planned going into the season. So make sure you get involved. Thanks everyone for tuning in. And if you didn't piss off to watch Love Island, I applaud you even more. Thanks for watching. Speak to you in a bit. It actually does